What is going on, everybody? It's Fade Stats, and today I'm going to be predicting the NBA playoffs. First, I want to start off with the NBA play-in and say how awesome it was. We got 3 out of 4 very close games, and the fourth one, well, that was my Oklahoma City Thunder getting blown out by the Timberwolves, but we'll be back next year. Enough about that. The play-in was awesome, and it added another fun element before the playoffs start today, and now we are going to be predicting the NBA playoffs. So starting off with the first series, Bucks versus Heat, I have the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. The Bucks are just the best team right now, the team to beat, and they have the best player. Now, we saw the Heat as the first seed last year go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals as the 1 seed, and we're a shot away from the NBA Finals, just a Jimmy Butler pull-up 3 away from the NBA Finals. And this year, they didn't really do anything except lose PJ Tucker to the Philadelphia 76ers, and now the Heat find themselves as the 8 seed, taking on the Bucks in the first round. And I got the Bucks in 5 in this one. They're just too good, and I don't see the Heat competing in any form. Now going over to the 1A game on the Western Conference side, we have the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And this would be a great series if Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels were available to play, but they're not. They're both hurt, and that's going to hurt the Timberwolves a little bit. I think the Timberwolves will end up competing, though. I think the Timberwolves do have a chance to slow down Nikola Jokic with their 2 bigs in the center. But I also think that Denver is just too good, and they will find a way to score and move the ball and work as a unit to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves defense. As we can sometimes see, it can be lackluster. But with all that being said, I do have the Denver Nuggets end up winning this in 5 games. I could see the Timberwolves taking 2 games, though, from the Nuggets. Now, going over to one of the more interesting first-round series, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. Now, this series is going to be a really fun series, as we have 2 of the younger teams up and coming, and they are looking to make some noise in the playoffs, and they are hungry. However, I do think the Cavs are just better than the Knicks. With Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland all in the lineup, I think the Cavs take this series in 6. But I could see it going 7, and if it goes 7, that is perfect because this series is going to be fun regardless. But I do have the Cavs in 6. Now going over to the 4-5 matchup on the Western Conference side, this would be one of the most entertaining first-round playoff matchups ever. But with the unfortunate injury to Paul George late in the season, I don't know how many games he's going to play in this series. And if he doesn't play, I could see the Suns winning this in 5. And it just sucks, man, that we have the Kawhi, Paul George, Clippers, and we're getting another season in the playoffs where this team is not fully healthy, and we cannot see them at their full capability. And the Suns, we all know the Suns, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, CP3, DeAndre Ayton. They will be just too much for this Clippers team if they don't have Paul George healthy and playing good. Suns in 5. Now heading on to the 3-6 series on the Eastern Conference side, we do have the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets. And honestly, Sixers in 6. Do I need to say much else? I mean, I could see the Brooklyn Nets putting up a fighting chance with their defensive capabilities, but I just think Joel Embiid is turning that notch, and he's going to have a monster first round, and he is not going to be able to be stopped. 76ers in 6 games. Now heading over to the 3-6 matchup on the Western Conference side. This is probably one of my most anticipated matchups. We have the Sacramento Kings versus the Golden State Warriors. And I'm going to say I do see a world where the Sacramento Kings could actually beat the Warriors in the first round. With how bad the Warriors have been on the road this year, and Andrew Wiggins not playing in months due to personal reasons, hope everything is good with him. But the Warriors just have not been able to have that Warriors-type run we've all known and seen. Whether it be the first half of the season or the second half of the season. It seems like they've always had a run, and this year they just haven't. And the road record this year isn't looking too hot either. On the Sacramento Kings side of things, you have the Coach of the Year in Mike Brown, you have the Clutch Player of the Year in De'Aaron Fox, you have Domantas Sabonis, who's an all-star, and you got good shooters around him, and Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, and Kevin Huerter, and Harrison Barnes. But yeah, this is going to be one of the more fun first-round series. I'm taking the Warriors in 7 in a hard-fought series. I just think their experience will be able to propel them above the Kings, as we haven't seen them in the playoffs for 16 years. And the Warriors are the defending champs, so I have to give them the benefit of the doubt to get out of the first round. Now going over to the 2-7 matchup on the Eastern Conference side, we have the Boston Celtics versus the Atlanta Hawks. Celtics in 4. Do I need to say much else? I could see the Hawks winning 1 game, I guess. But at the end of the day, the Celtics will just be too good for the Hawks. And if Trae Young gets shut down, DeJounte Murray is not enough to carry this team. And moving on to the last first round matchup, we had the number 2 seed Grizzlies versus the number 7 seed Los Angeles Lakers. And this is going to be a fun series, let me tell you. We already have all the antics starting. Dylan Brooks already talking trash to LeBron and the Lakers. Well, it wasn't really trash, I guess. He said he wants LeBron, he wants the best. It'd be a good test for the Grizzlies. And yeah, I agree. The Grizzlies are not backing down from this fight. They want the Lakers in this one. But I do think this series will go the distance, and I do end up thinking the Lakers will win due to the fact the Grizzlies are missing Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. And without those two guys, I just don't know how they're going to guard Anthony Davis, with especially how well he's been hooping lately. He has put the Lakers on his back, and he has been carrying them in the later half of this season. Now, the Grizzlies do have Jaren Jackson Jr., who's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. But the thing is, Jaren can get in foul trouble fast. And if that happens, I don't know how you're going to guard Anthony Davis. And then it just opens up the floor for everyone else on the Lakers. Like Dennis Schroeder, like Jalen McDaniels, like Jared Vanderbilt. Players like that who get shots and create and move and kick. And then you got LeBron James, best player in the world. So I do think the Lakers will win this series in 7 games. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Grizzlies pulled out in 7 either. This is going to be a fun series with all the antics around it. Dillon Brooks, Shannon Sharpe, the Grizzlies, the Lakers. It's going to be a fun one. Now, moving on to the next round of the playoffs, I'm just going to be giving who I think will win in the number of games, because this is all hypothetical and these series aren't set in stone yet. And as we know in the NBA, anything can happen. It is the most craziest league of all time. So going on to the second round of the playoffs, in the first series, what I think would be, we would have the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'm picking the Bucks to win this in 6. I'm picking the Bucks every series. I'm just going to let y'all know. But for the sake of the video, we're going to go ahead and give our predictions on the game. Next Eastern Conference matchup, we do have what I think will be the 76ers versus the Celtics. If this series happens, which it most likely will, this will be a fun one. Once again, will Joel Embiid get bounced in the second round by the NBA Finals runner-up, or will they go on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in the Joel Embiid era? However, I am going to pick the Celtics in 7 for this one. I just think they are a more complete team than the Sixers, but I would not be surprised if Joel Embiid turned up and the Celtics just have a complete mental lapse. And the Celtics just have a complete mental lapse and played bad this series. I would not be surprised. However, though, I am going Celtics in 7, setting up a Bucks-Celtics Eastern Conference Final. Now, going over to the Western Conference side of things, in the second round, what I think will be the first matchup, we will have the Denver Nuggets versus the Phoenix Suns. Now, this series will be really interesting to see, as we have Nikola Jokic, who might be the back-to-back MVP against KD, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and the Suns. And if this series were to happen, honestly, I think I have to go Suns in 6. I could see the Nuggets pulling it out just because their depth is way better than the Suns. But at the end of the day, the Suns still have those 4 guys, and those 4 guys are a lot better than anyone else's 4 guys. And I'm taking them Suns in 6. Then we have another second round matchup in the West, which I would think to be the Warriors versus the Lakers. Now, I did have both of these teams winning in 7 games last time, and if this series happens, I think I'm picking this series to go 7 again. Again, the Warriors just haven't had their run this year. But I got to give them the benefit of the doubt because we've seen it so many times over the past however many years. And I would not be surprised if the Warriors beat the Lakers in the second round. I would not be surprised if the Warriors went to the NBA Finals, because that's what they do. Now, going over to the Eastern Conference Finals, Bucks, Celtics. I have the Bucks in 6. Yeah, man, the Bucks are going to the NBA Finals. If they don't, that'll be some wild, crazy things. I guess we've seen crazier things happen. But the Bucks are just too good. They have the best player on the best team. They are a complete team, and they know what their job is to do, and that is to go win another championship. Then we have a Suns versus Warriors Western Conference Finals, and I have the Suns in 6, setting up a rematch of the 2021 NBA Finals, Suns versus Bucks. Now, if this finals does happen, I do have the Bucks again winning the series, because I just think, even with the 4 guys on the Suns, I just think the Bucks are a more complete team. They have better depth. They have good defenders, and I think they will be able to contain at least one of Kevin Durant or Devin Booker every night. And plus, the Bucks have the best player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. They have Drew Holiday. They have Bobby Portis off the bench. They have Brook Lopez, who is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and they have Chris Middleton, who hopefully he's okay. If Chris Middleton doesn't play, I could see the Bucks struggling a little bit, as he did go down with that knee injury, but I think he will be fine, and he will be playing in the playoffs. He may not be a former shell of himself, but I don't think the Bucks need the full Chris Middleton right now. I think Chris Middleton is good enough right now to where he can help out the Bucks, and they can win the NBA final. But yeah, those are my predictions. Let me know if you have anything different, or if there's anything you would change. This was all just for fun, and I'm probably not going to be right. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not right. The NBA is a crazy league, and anything can happen on any given night. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and it's playoff time, baby.